There we go. Floor is yours.
All right. Well, thank you so very much. This is going to be fun. What I've done in the last couple years is really dialed in some of the surveys that I've been doing over 8 years. One of them is a nesting bird survey. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you take this survey. And what you're going to find out is you cannot submit it because there are things in the cloud today that are broken. So you can see how it works. Survey123 won't natively do a buffer around a point, but most of us know it's just math. It's a point and then a point and a point and a point, and then you just draw lines. So the math part is a JSON file. And so what you're going to do is you're going to go into that survey and you're going to, on the map, you're going to pick which bird you want, because what's going to happen is a buffer size is going to be different. Now, I built this one out for California, which has all the birds that we need to watch out for when we do construction sites. Because what happens is when you go out to a construction site, there are going to be trees. And if there's specific birds, especially eagles, there's a certain buffer around a tree that makes sure that you cannot do anything within that buffer. So we've done nesting bird surveys for years. We just figured out we could do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the slide if you guys are okay with that. Something you can do is if you download this into your Survey123 app, you can go back to it later once the cloud is all fixed, and you could actually submit it. And then what's really cool is in the inbox, you can go back to the inbox and bring your surveys back down. And in the inbox, it's going to have some color changes. So if you put a date in that you need to revisit this in 2 days or something like that, and then you push that up to the cloud, and then you go back to your inbox, and then you're looking at this, it'll be red because there's some code on the back end that does these magical things for you. And this is really good for our guys and our ladies that go out, because they can go out and they can just sort on anything that is red, because those are the things they need to go and check on one more time. And hopefully the birds have left the nest and then construction can go forward. So I'm really excited to be able to share this with you. Sorry, the cloud is not working today, but at least you'll be able to see it. All right, so today we're talking points, lines, polygons, and buffers. Oh my, I just went to Kansas, and this was a presentation that I did with them because it was Wizard of Oz themed. So we thought that was a whole lot of fun. Because you're here, I'm going to gift you 3 different types of classes. If you just want to take a screenshot of this, and later you can play with the QR codes to figure out which one you want. The first one's for beginners. The second one is a Power Automate. The next one is Field Maps to Survey123. Now the two additional QR codes that are here, Power Automate and Field Maps, those are $79 classes. I'm gifting them to you for free through the end of the year. So use them, because these are really powerful tools that you're going to want to get to have before the end of the year if you don't know how to do that already. So this is the day that changed my life. I had a car accident May 2nd, 2022. And for those of you who are in Star Wars land, May the 4th is a big deal to us. I missed the whole May the 4th, which was really sad for me. But I wanted to tell you, most people learn Survey123 and GIS one time. After this car accident, I had to learn it twice because I didn't know Survey123 anymore. I didn't know GIS. I made the ugliest maps I've ever made in my whole life. So for folks who have concussions, you don't know you're broken until things start not making any sense. So 6 weeks after my car accident, I did a new Survey123 class because that's what I do. And I'm going through the whole process and everything felt safe. Okay, I don't have a concussion anymore. That's what I'm thinking until we get to the very end and somebody's asking me questions. And when I do live Q&A, it's never been a problem before. After this, there was a problem. I couldn't find those files that were in my brain. So I basically told people, because when you go to school, they tell you this, they say, hey, if you don't know the answer, tell them you'll get it to them. And that was the only thing that was in my brain. So I said, Let me get that for you. I'm going to make a recording for you and I'll send it out to everybody. So if you ever get a chance to look at my YouTube channel, it's all the things that I've ever put out there because I needed it too, because I didn't know when I was going to get my brain back. And so they're just out there. It's just a repository of everything that I've ever taught somebody, as long as I could share that with the world. During my concussion, a little bit more about that. My son gave me this puzzle, and it came in a cardboard box with no picture and just these 3D printed pieces. And I remember looking at the box going, oh, this is great. Thank you so much. And then I put the lid back on and I grabbed the next present because I didn't know what it was. I put that box away in their bedroom because they're both gone, in their bedroom. And when my son came back for Easter break, he goes, hey, Mom, do you want me to help you with this? He just thought I put it there and just forgot about it. And I go, yes, that would be great. So this is my youngest son. My oldest son gave it to me. My youngest son came back. And he's just a beautiful soul. He came and he's all, okay. And he knew I had a concussion. But his leadership skills are top notch. So he goes, we brought it out to the table and he goes, what do you think it is? And I'm all, I have no idea. And he goes, okay, well, let's look at these pieces. And he goes, do these little lines that are on here, do those look like the elevation marks on a map? And I go, oh, it does. And he goes, okay, so maybe it's something. And we're going, okay, that sounds good. And I think he had seen a picture of what this was because my other son probably showed him. And he goes, let's see if we can find the four corners. And I'm all, okay, we can do that. And we're looking for the four corners. We found those. And then we played with it for a little while. And he goes, okay, so each of the four corners, they're kind of a different elevation. He goes, why don't we put them in sizes? And I go, oh, that sounds great. So we went through this process. We did about 2 hours, then we put it away. It was like, okay, I think we're tapped out. Let's go get some food. And after he went back to school, I was able to pull that back out and continue and finish it. And I want to share with you, if you have interns or folks who just don't know how to get started, these are great questions for you to ask your interns and your new people. Ask them questions. Say, how do you think we should do this? Let them try and figure it out, and then you can guide them. That's how I figured out I want to be a mentor like that. I don't just want to do it for somebody. So that is how this journey of me having a concussion has really changed my life. Now that my brain is back, I'm paying it forward, and I like to share my knowledge. That's what I do. It's my passion. It makes me feel good. My husband and I, we were Santa photographers for 15 years. I graduated during that time. So we asked Santa, hey, Santa, can I stand on your chair? I want to get the back of my gown. So have fun with it. Have fun with your journeys. I'm just really excited about where we're all going now. So when I learned Survey123 the first time, and also the second time, the first time, nobody was there for me to ask for help. I learned Survey123 with 5-minute videos, and they're still on the internet if you ever want to look at those. They're a little dated, but they still get you where you need to go. I remember just I started working at Southern California Edison, and I was the one that did the Survey123. They had 2 other people, but they were on a project and I could not disturb them because they were so busy with what they were doing. So they brought me on. And I remember I was going through it. I was excited about it. And I did not know how Survey123 was built because everything was in beta. And so they had Survey123, they had ArcGIS Online, and they had ArcGIS Pro. And so I'm pushing things to the cloud. I'm going, oh, this is great. My people can use an app. I go, and I can make reports. Really, that's all I needed. I had no idea it went to ArcGIS Online. I had no idea that you could pull that down into ArcGIS Pro. I don't know if you could do it back then, but you can now. But life, it's a really interesting thing to just figure out, when you're on the ground floor. My husband always says, I'm the Kool-Aid man. I go through the wall first. I do. And so some of you do too. Know that when you do that, it's really nice if you can train people how to do that too, because it's a hard place to be by yourself, but if you can get through it, it's going to be just fine. So if you are here, you're in the right place. If you need to build Survey123 projects, I'm going to show you how to build it out the easiest way possible. So what is the hardest part of designing a survey for you? Anybody want to put that in the chat? What is the hardest part? I'm going to look at my chat now. What's the hardest part for you if you were doing a survey? While you're typing, I'm going to tell you what mine is. It's starting from scratch. It's getting that client to, yes, thank you. Understanding requirements, the deliverables. Yes, exactly. That's exactly it. So for me too, you're working with a client and they have this grand idea and they have 14 questions they want to ask for the survey. And that's great. That's a great start. There's a lot more that goes into it. And then when you ask them, say, well, what is your deliverable? Because when you're building Survey123, you want to get it right the first time when it goes live. Changing the schema, good for you, yes. And let me tell you for schema, just so that you know, the next version of Survey123 should not be a problem for us because it will be in the GIS universe and the schema should be easy. That's what they tell me anyway. So keep that in mind going forward. That should be, yes, that should be a good thing. So your client comes with you. They either do or do not know what their deliverable is. I've built them both ways. I've had clients come to me and say, hey, we need to document this fire footprint. We do not know what we need as a deliverable. So you're basically flying the plane while it's in the air. How many of you have done that? All right. So what we're going for is we just want to go through and we want to figure things out. So we're going to use a little chat GPT and help us figure out what we think the client wants. So what if I showed you how to use AI to build your surveys? Now, the great thing about AI, if you cannot use the Survey123 assistant, that's okay. I can't either. But what I can do is I can use ChatGPT on my home computer, or I can use Copilot. Usually I can use Copilot inside Office 365 if I was working somewhere. Here you go. Let's learn, have some fun. So by the time, the end of our time together, you're going to learn how to build your Survey123 smarter. Take a picture of this or a screenshot. These are the questions that I asked ChatGPT before I built the survey, because I had an idea of what nesting bird surveys should look like, but I didn't know all the questions, and I definitely didn't want to go research what buffer sizes and things like that. So here are your questions. It says, I'm having trouble getting my Survey123 AI assistant to work. Can you help me? This is a very important statement because now ChatGPT puts his hat on that says, hey, I'm now going to, my role is I need to help with Survey123. You always want to do that with them. You always want to say, you want to tell them why, because then he knows. I say he because I pay him to work for me now, but he knows where to go to get the information that I'm looking for. Survey123 is specifically an Esri product, so it knows it's looking for Esri product information. Then I say, what questions should I ask for Survey123 about nesting birds in California? Because I don't want the whole world. I just want the one location that my team is going to be in. Are there any special species we should be aware of? Then I said, if I'm doing construction, what are the buffer sizes I need to keep? And that's very specific. And it knows it's going to a specific source to get that information. And it's usually, one of our federal or state legislation type of folks who are putting these documents out. Buffer size by species, how many days do I need to wait before revisiting? Because I don't know all this information. So ChatGPT can give me some pretty good information. You'll notice the very last thing I say is, can you cite your sources? Because I want to know the list of where everything's coming from. And if I see something that's kind of wonky, I'm going to say, hey, can you remove this the information that came from here and try again, and it'll put everything back out there for me. So this is a video. So I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to talk to you through the video. We already tested this, so the voices work. And you'll get to see how I work with this. And now ChatGPT has given me everything that needs to go in my survey tab. And so I'm cutting and pasting. And I'm going to create a survey over here. And we're not going to need any of that. Let's get this smaller. That's the choice tab. So we're going to say copy. And let's go in here and add a sandbox. And okay, so type, name, and label. We can bring all of those over right now. Copy. Paste. Choices. I'll definitely get rid of those. All right, so let's see what we have. I'm going to be doing these down here, and I know that it starts at the buffer. So let's go back to here. Buffer. And we're going over here to calculation, paste. Paste is Control V. And now you've got all of that beautiful information right there. Okay, so species of birds. So let's go do that. And we did that in our sandbox. We've got our choices down here at the bottom. List name, name, and label. Chat did a really nice job. And I'm going to say control like that. It was very smart in that it knew to make sure that all of our text was lowercase. And then let's open up our, okay, so there's something wrong. And let's find out what it is. Invalid calculations for bird attachment in season, unbalanced brackets. Okay. And here, what I'm doing is I'm just asking ChatGPT, hey, this is what the error message said. And at the very end, it says unbalanced brackets, but I think it's something else. Can you go into the Esri community and find out why this isn't working? And it pulls everything up. I didn't have to do any of that. And now we're just pasting. And we're hitting save, and we're going to see if it works. Beautiful. So with all of that, does anybody have any questions before I go on? All right, I'll keep an eye on the chat. How does that feel? Does that feel like something you could do? The only issues that come up are when ChatGPT gives us some hallucination. And when we say hallucination, it's, I'm looking at something. When they say hallucination, really what that is, that's what I'm looking for. A hallucination is just something it's found somewhere in the internet that isn't quite right. And so, you know, if you kind of redirect, if you know what is broken, you can redirect ChatGPT to go find out what that is. It's not a difficult process. It's better if you have some Survey123 knowledge, because then you can figure out what some of those issues could be. You're also in the right place if your field crew loves field maps, but you need the benefits of Survey123. So are you ready to learn how to push data from field maps into Survey123 in one hosted service? Remember those QR codes that I gave you that said do a screenshot? When you do the one for field maps to Survey123, you will learn this. And I give you some templates to go for. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to publish Survey123. The second thing we're going to do is download Survey123, the GDB. Then we're going to create a point layer and a relationship. Then we're going to publish a web layer. Then we're going to add some code to field maps so that it talks to Survey123. So here's our Survey123 that we're going to publish. That wasn't so hard, right? Most of us have done that. If you're here, you probably are interested in Survey123. You've probably published something before. Now we're going to download the GDB. It's super easy. You know, most of us have done that before. You've completed that, right? Create a point layer and a relationship. Now this is a lot of fun because this is the first time that I've ever done that. I never built a relationship before this because I always build my relationships in Survey123. But what we are doing is we're taking Survey123, we're adding a point layer, we're creating that relationship. So now there's, you know, maybe there's 4 layers in Survey123 now. Because of that, we need that one, that's the try again. What we want to do is make sure everything's in one hosted service, and that top one is now going to be field maps. Now we're going to publish a layer. I had never done a web layer that way before. So even being in the field for 8 years, this is a new process for me. I live in Survey123 all the time. I've never had to do this before. So keep in mind that this might be new to you, or maybe you do it all the time and it's going to be easy. Now, this is a good screenshot also. This is some code that we're adding to field maps. What I do when I teach these classes is you'll notice all the little highlights over there. Click here for Survey123. Click here to copy text to Survey123. Click here to copy the GUID to the GUID. Copy here to copy text from Survey123, and then open up field maps when it's finished. All that code is down at the bottom. So the first thing you're going to have is that blue link, and then you're just going to add the and whatever the code is right behind that for the next step. And then what's going to happen is all of that's going to be included in Survey123. There is one more step. This is your bonus step. All you have to do is take that new web layer link, yes, and put that into your Survey123 and republish it. Now everything has a bow wrapped really nicely around it, and all you have to do is start taking surveys. This is that screenshot I was telling you about. So that field maps to Survey123 will show you all this information. And it's a beautiful thing. The only thing it won't give you, it doesn't give you the nesting bird survey. That one has a whole lot more involved, and it's just it's a whole different process. And that process, the nesting bird survey, took over 200 hours and a team of 3 to figure out. And you just learned how to do it in 35 minutes. How does that feel? Let's see here. That's the end of my presentation. So now we have time for some questions. Do you have questions for me as we go forward? Tim Nolan's here. Look at you, Tim. Thanks for being here. That's awesome. See if I know anybody else. I feel like Romper Room, where they've got that little spyglass. I see Joy, and I see Lewis, and I see. Welcome, everybody. This is a lot of fun. If everybody wants to come on your camera, I'll take a picture of us and we can put that on LinkedIn. Yay, look at everybody. This is amazing. Thank you all for being here. All right, I'm gonna take a picture. You ready? All right. Let's see how, yeah, that looks beautiful. All right, now we can talk. If everybody wants to come off mute, I'd love to just talk and have a nice chat with everybody. I can also go through some of these chat questions. What are the benefits of Survey123 versus field maps? That is always a great question. I like some things in field maps and I like everything in Survey123, to be honest. So Survey123 can do a whole lot more. So my husband and I, we used to be Santa photographers, and we always said, get it in camera. But also so get it in camera is something we tell people with Survey123 before you go live, get it really good. Get it as dialed in as you can, because once you go live and then you have live data, it's very complicated to get things fixed up, especially if you're brand new. Some things that Survey123 does, it's like manual on your camera. And what that means is you can dial it in. The spreadsheet is set up so that you can have calculations, you can have relevance, which turns things on and off. It's just a really beautiful software that makes sure that you can get everything you want. Plus, you can do feature reports. Feature reports are great because it pulls data from the hosted service. The maps show up, your text shows up, and everything is, it's a nice product for your end user. You can also power automate that feature report. And then you can do different ones. You can do one for your stakeholders. Maybe they need to know, the status of a project, or maybe you need to get your work orders out. And so the work orders go out to the crew and you don't have to do anything. If you need your veg management to go out, it just happens, stuff happens. If there's a broken water main, that goes specifically to the right people. So, if you can automate things, it's less things you have to do. And then it's all documented, and you probably have a folder somewhere in your project that all these files go to. So it's a nice package to have. I do like that Field Maps does a few extra things, and I'm thinking that as soon as Survey123 comes into the universe, and hopefully that'll happen before the Esri UC next year, I have a feeling the Field Maps things we love will kind of transfer over. So I'm hoping that's going to happen anyways. All right, let's see what else we had. Okay, yes, let me show you that. So they were asking for the inbox. Let me close out a few things. I'm going to get into my Survey123 and show you the code on how to change the dates. I'll also post it right here. Let me share with us again. Share. And that one is nesting birds. This one here. I have a lot of nesting birds right now because we're doing a lot with it, a lot of different things. So here's the code. Let me see if I can find you. Chat. This is the code for your instance. And I'm going to push that in, and then I'll tell you what it looks like. Let me make this a little bigger. All right. So we are concatenating the species, and then we're saying recheck date if red. Recheck if it's red. So what we're looking for is there's some code here, and it says if it's 0 days before today, make it red. If it is 7 days before today, make it orange. And if it's anything before that, make it black. So when that inbox comes in, what ends up happening is it's looking for these dates. And you see that how it says 7 times 24 times 3,600 times 1,000. So that is a special way for the computer to see the date in computer form. 24 hours, 3,600 minutes maybe, and 1,000 milliseconds, I think, something like that. It works. So all you have to do is plug in what you want it to say and then figure out your dates. And I have this, it's a recheck date is what they're looking for. So we're looking for species and recheck. Species is here. And then a recheck date is at the bottom. recheck date is down here. And right now it's automated to 17 days, but you can change that to whatever you want. And then the recheck date is actually what they're looking for. And you'll see all this wonderful code. I always add this information here to every single survey. And it's what time zone are they in? What is their organizational email with their account? First and last name of the current signed in user. I also do model name of the user's device because that's great for troubleshooting. The operating system, the version of the field app, because sometimes if you have some trouble, you can look at this and say, okay, well, what field app are they using? Oh, they're on 3.14. We probably need to update them. And then the version of the survey. And the version of the survey comes from version, and I believe it is taking information from here. So that's your version here. I hope that helps. Let's see what else we have in here.
Hey, Michelle, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording if you're okay with that.
Yeah, go for it. If anybody wants to come off mute, if I've missed something and it's an important question you wanted